Alright, Sergeant Stepdad here. Me and my wife had a little debate about the AR platform last night. I know some people don't like you talking about it, but there is some myth that she thought that you can shoot an AR faster than you can shoot a pistol. It How fast you shoot either one of those is dependent on how fast you can pull the trigger. And the size of the magazine has how many rounds you can get off. But we are kind of at odds on some of this. I believe that the AR platform is a legal firearm for everyone to have, as long as you're not convicted of a violent crime. And the size of the magazine should not have any set, should not be any controversy. She says that a lot of people don't like the AR platform because they're afraid of it, because it's a weapon of war, as people like to call it. There are other firearms out there that are used more often in crime activities than they are of non violent crimes. Well, not used by violent people. Literally, the AR platform, most people use it for shooting for fun, or because it looks cool. That they think they like to have it. And we've we decided we're just gonna be agree to disagree. But I feel like making this video so kind of give some educational value to firearms. Yes, I have shot the military's M16 and M4. The M16, when it originally first came out, had full auto. Well, the M16 and M4 had full auto. The M16 that I had was the M16A2, had a burst feature instead of full auto. The M4s that are now coming back, or that are coming out, where they're switching to just mostly M4s, they are they've got semi and full auto. I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment because it's the Constitution. And my wife and I use the analogy of we got the government is like parents. Got it. They feel like you gotta protect your kids. But here's the thing: you do not punish the good kid for the actions of the bad kids. And that's what seems to be going on with some of these people calling for stricter gun laws, removal of the AR platform. Yet, and this is what really gets me: AR does not stand for assault rifle. Assault is an action. It, and most people have already pointed this out. AR stands for Armalite rifle. So that is not right if you call it an assault rifle. Assault is an action. And that's the way they want to group all these rifles. I mean, you've got the AR, you've got the AKs. I'm surprised they haven't seen anything about the Thompson being brought up, because it's a weapon of war. Pretty much, actually, every weapon that is out there has some bearings to war. I mean, they may not all have been used for war, but they all came from the fact that the soldiers out there needed something to protect themselves from the enemy, and firearms was it. But the main thing is, there's going to be a lot more issues with people fighting over rifles that are allowed and that are not allowed. And I feel like everyone's just going to keep going on and on and on. But there is one thing I'm going to show here, that criminals don't really use these so-called assault rifles in crimes as much as you think they do, as much as people think they do. I have actually found a lot of statistics that state that handguns are used more often in violent crimes than your ARs, your AKs, or even full auto weapons. And I've actually got information that proves that a lot of these individuals who have gotten these weapons that committed a crime that possibly does not have a reason, the right to own because they committed a violent crime prior, have not obtained it legally. There's a slim few, less than 5%. I mean, here, let me pull it up. All right. See here, sources of use of firearms involved in crimes from 2016 by the Department of Justice. Possessed. Yeah, you can see that about 20% possessed a handgun. Well, possessed any kind of firearm. About maybe 18-19% had a handgun. And see right below it, gun they obtained from a retail source. Maybe 2%, 2 to 3%. And used. Less, even less. In your highlights, 21% of state and 20% of federal prisoners said they possessed a handgun during their offense, while 79% of state and 80% of federal did not. And let's see, only 0.8% obtained at a gun show. And among the state prisoners who possessed a gun during their offense, only 27% killed someone with it. The other 12 injured, 7 fired a gun but did not injure anyone. And 54% did not fire. State prisoners with no military service were more likely to possess a gun during their offense, which was 21%, than prisoners who have served in the military, 16%. 90%, right here, 90% did not obtain it from a retail source. So this gets me on a topic that where I found Biden wants to make it to where manufacturers and sellers can be held responsible for someone using their product in a crime. On individuals who were a victim of the violent crime can sue the companies. This is like suing a pencil manufacturer for mistakes, or suing alcohol company for someone doing something stupid while drunk. That includes also suing a vehicle manufacturer for a drunk driver killing someone in a drunk driving accident. It's not right. And it goes on explaining more stuff, term definitions. Rifle, a handgun, a firearm which has a short stock and is designed to be held and fired by the use of a single hand, which you use both hands to steady. A rifle, a firearm intended to be fired from the shoulder and designed to use the energy of an explosive to fire only a single projectile through a rifle bore for each single pull of the trigger. So if it fires more than one, it's a machine gun. If it's anything else, if it's only a one pull, one round, it's a rifle. Shotguns, yes. Firearm soldiers are designed to use the energy of a explosive fire through a smooth bore, either a number of ball shot or a single projectile for each pull of the trigger. And that's the definition. One round per shot is this definition. Well, a single round per pull of the triggers is the definition of semi-auto. And let's go to the FBI's 2016 data of violent crimes committed with a weapon. See, you got your total. This is totals through the years. Okay. And it keeps going up, but the total with firearms. 2016, 11,004. Handguns, 7,105. Rifles, 374. Shotguns, 262. Other guns, and this might be one of these other guns, 186. Firearms, types not stated, 3,077. Even with all these others, even with this one, with the firearms, types not stated, and other guns and rifles, it's still not going to get up to handguns. Handguns, this shows that handguns are used more often in violent crimes. And, well, look at this. Knives are cutting instruments, over 1,000 in violent crimes. When it comes to violent crimes, the criminals. Oh, this is murder victim. I wasn't paying attention to that. But it shows that criminals prefer something they can hide easily over something that's going to be long. So criminals do not use rifles as much as you think. Which it doesn't make me I don't understand why people are so afraid of an AR, more afraid of an AR rifle than they are of a handgun. Because I am usually on edge when people who look suspicious are around, and it ain't a race thing. It's more if someone looks like they could be up to something. I kind of keep an eye on them because you don't know if they're gonna just all of a sudden start shooting up the place or something. And when someone's walking in with a rifle, you know they're gonna be shooting up the place. Those individuals are easier to stop than people with a handgun. And I've got quite a few tabs open. Let's see, this is a 2019 on Statista, and I don't know why. 6,368 last year handgun. And firearm types not stated 3,281. And your rifles is down here 364. Other weapons or weapons not stated. I'm assuming this is going to be more of your oddball rifles that can't be considered a handgun or a rifle. But even if you put rifles in with this, it's not going to change. It's not going to be enough to really support people's call to ban ARs, AKs, and stuff like that. I mean, because the murders are not as high as handguns. And let me also put it this way: the places with the strictest gun laws usually have the highest murder rates. So they're punishing their good, law-abiding citizens over the actions of the criminals. And let's pop up the last tab I have here and see. And this is ammunition calibers. And this is actually as of 2019. You get more 9mm used than your 223, which is the the standard AR round. 7.62 by 39, which is the actual AK round, used less. My rifles round is not on here, which is a 6.5 Creedmoor, which they have ARs actually made for that. But you got the pistol caliber I use, which is a 40 Smith & Wesson at 15. But this also shows actually types of firearms, like 82. I believe if this is correct, this is probably in percentages. Yeah, yeah, this is percentage. 82% was handgun, 7% rifle, 3% shotgun, and 1% machine gun. And this actually is California's summary on the as a point used in crimes. So this doesn't explain the need for their regulations. Ooh, look, and here's their homicide. Handguns, 86.4%. Rifles, 9.1%. Which, oh, this is other than homicide. Other than homicide. Yeah. Shotguns, 2.3. Right, machine guns, 2.3. That probably includes the Uzi. And here's your homicide. 90% of homicides in California involved, well, firearmed homicides. That ended in homicide. Only 90% of them used handguns. 3.3% had a rifle. And 6.7% shotgun. So the shotgun homicides in California are higher than the rifle. Huh. Let's see. 2 handguns and 1 shotgun were identified as being related to street gang crimes. Total weapons and ammo. Oh, look. California assault weapons. Even right here in 2007, there really has not been much assault weapons. They call them assault weapons, but let's see. 8, 218. I like it. Now they're showing their assault weapons, but look how low their assault weapons are and how high their numbers are. Total weapons examined. It's 3 of the 93 firearms examined in 2019 were identified as California assault weapons. They're assault weapons. Assault weapons, and I'm making air quotes here. None of them were reported stolen. Serial numbers removed. 493 were submitted with serial numbers removed. One qualifying firearm exhibited full auto fire was examined this year. Short barrel shotguns or rifles. 2. Officer and follow shooting incidents. 13 firearms incidents related to officer involved shooting incidents were 10 handguns, 2 rifles, and 1 shotgun. None were equipped with suppressors. No unusual ammunition. So, these bans are not really doing any good on keeping crime down. It's just making it easier for the criminals to find targets. And that. Alright. Okay, let's see. This was. Yeah. This was. No, this. Yeah, this fig. I got the figure that I showed in the first tab proves that most of the firearms are not obtained legally. They did not obtain from a retail source. And that, I'm pretty sure retail source includes gun shows because they've got their retail source. I mean, I don't know. There's private buys, and that is one thing you do have to look into. Like the person, I actually did a private buy with my handgun, and it was where he wanted to see my permit to purchase or permit to carry prior to selling me the firearm. And I got my permit to carry, and he sold me the firearm. And that's what you need to do with certain things. In certain instances, you need maybe go talk to some like police department and go, hey, I'm looking at purchasing a firearm, a private buy firearm, and individuals asking me for proof that I'm able to purchase a firearm. And I'm pretty sure your county sheriff might go, okay, well, that means we're going to have to do a background check. And you know what? If you do this background check, we can give you a permit to carry or a permit to purchase, give you information. And I know it's going to cost a little extra, but it will at least mean that these individuals concerned about making sure the person purchasing their firearm is legally able to have it. So, but and in some instances, someone has a good background and they decide to buy a firearm to go attack and decided to use it to commit a crime. you're not going to be able to catch these individuals due to them not being on a list of already people known not to give firearms to. I mean, my wife told me that she thinks there needs to be a little more stricter background checks, or thorough. I mean, how thorough can you get with a background check? I mean, if you have a criminal history, the government's gonna know it. I mean, every 10 years for the Army to have a secret security clearance, you have to provide all the information of like your past like 10 years worth of addresses, a bunch of stuff that addresses, known people you associate with, any foreign ties, and this goes on. And yeah, you may be what's going to cause issue for some people is if they decide that they want to also include your credit into that. Because you're going to have people who have houses on their credit, college loans, and that's going to make their credit kind of low. And if you do that, it means that people like me, I know my credit is suffering right now. Yet I am not gonna go out and rob a bank or rob someone to help with my credit or my financial situations. But I mean, maybe the fact that you may want to look into it whether or not they have a job, a stable job. That might be one thing because yes, if they gotta have a stable, if they have a stable job, they're less likely to go out and rob a bank. And I know I mean, if you got reports knowing that they're involved with gangs, that's fine. I mean, knowing gang relationships, because that's one of those things where yes, you can catch them prior to doing something. And I know mental health has been an issue with some of this. I know there's like depression, PTSD. Um, we need to probably work on something with those individuals to make sure they don't, if they're not gonna be a harm to themselves or others, that's always gonna be, it's gotta be a bumpy road. Because there are some people who are gonna be have bouts of PTSD, yet they're not gonna hurt anyone. I mean, you they can lie, but I think it's just gonna be one of those roads we've got to work with to figure out what works and what doesn't. If something doesn't work, we remove it and try something else instead of blanket everyone, blanket ban on it for everyone, because that is not going to end well if you just say, yeah, you can't have any of this. So you need to understand to find ways to take care of the individuals that are the bad ones, and not go after the good ones. I mean, there is there is a ground where both sides of this debate can come together and work on a way to make both sides happy without harming make both sides happy, because you're always going to have extremists. But if you can make, at least find an area where most people can be happy, you can make making both sides happy will make the world a better place. So, like ARs, yeah, people. I think people should be allowed to have an AR. I mean, being military, yeah, it's an AR. What's it gonna do? How about? But we want to keep them out of the bad people's hands. The gun owners understand that. Hey, we want to keep them out of the bad people's hands, but they agree with that. Keeping firearms out of the bad people's hands, but they don't agree with them having to give up the right to own that firearm because the bad guys are getting a hold of them. And until both sides can work on a way to keep firearms out of the bad people's hands, nothing's going to change. Eventually, and it could eventually be one side makes the other side mad to the point where they revolt and get violent. I mean, the Second Amendment does guarantee the right to keep and bear arms. And at this point, with these gun control extremists continuously attacking it, you're going to have those law-abiding gun owners turn on these individuals, and it's not going to be pretty. And if government officials are also getting to the extreme, pushing an extreme gun control agenda, these individuals are going to turn on the government. Because technically, the Constitution is the law of the land. It's supposed to, if Congress, it'd have to take all 50 states. I think it should take all 50 states to even be able to try and make a change to the Constitution. The original amendments of the Constitution. Because just allowing individuals supposedly elected to represent the people to do these things is not gonna end well. But I have a feeling that if gun control lobbyists continue doing what they're doing, this country is going for a civil war. Because a lot of people feel their rights are being trampled on. I mean, with the gun, the certain bans in California, New York, Chicago, and then there's also the issues with the first one, freedom of speech. People are being silenced for their opinions. Churches are being forced to stay closed while other places are open. I mean, it's getting to be where people are going to start taking action against these individuals that are doing these actions. And it's a massive problem. We should be allowed to have our own opinions. And I will actually put it this way: the pronouns, the transgender stuff. Hey, I say you do you, but if say I call you the wrong pronoun and you yell at me, I'm gonna be a smart ass and continue. I call you the thing, but I believe in that. It's a mental disorder, which it has been proven that some of these things actions are a mental disorder. But I'm not gonna belittle you about it. It's your. I believe it's that you can feel how you want to feel about it, but you're a human being, and that's how I see it. You are you. Doesn't mean I'm gonna treat you any different than you are now. And I will leave you with that. And I actually have a daughter that feels like a boy sometimes, feels like a girl sometimes. I love her no matter what. And yes, actually, before I go, my wife decided to want to make a TikTok video. An individual that uses they them was feared that her adopted father was not gonna love her, and she wanted at least someone to say those words, like a parent to say those words. And I participated in that video. So it's not something I'm against. It's just what I believe is the cause of it. Okay? Stop.